You probably went onto your favorite streaming service, saw thousands of people streaming this really interesting looking game, went to Steam and checked it out. The trailer looks really cool. It's not too expensive, so you decided to buy it. You opened up the menu, you looked at the survivors and said, hey, this guy looks cool. So you clicked ready, you got into a match, and you got absolutely wrecked, with you left saying,
I'm new! I don't know what to do!
Hi everyone, I'm Lucien, and I've been playing Dead by Daylight since 2016, and have somewhere around 1,200 hours in the game, and which realistically isn't as many as a lot of other people who've been playing since the game's release, but I have broken up my gameplay over the period of time that the game's been out. With that said, I don't believe that I'm an amazing player. I actually think I'm fairly average, but with my time that I've spent playing the game, there are definitely strategies that I've picked up along the way in my experience. And I figured I'd make a video that's as short as possible, or as short as possibly that I could get it, that just explained what those strategies are and kind of help guide newer players to becoming comfortable with the game to where they can actually start to enjoy the gameplay and truly get value out of the game, because I know it's extremely hard for beginners. I know the game can be very brutal and very unfair, and the learning curve is pretty tough. So hopefully with these tips, you guys can feel like you're a little bit better prepared for the future. So here are the 5 chapters that I've broken up this guide into. The first one being, who should I level first? The second one being, what not to do in the match. Third one being, know thy enemy. Fourth one being, altruism equals survival. And the fifth one being, getting over fear and getting into the fight. In each of them, I'll try to quickly break down each of the strategies to help you out and get you more comfortable. Now, each survivor has a set of 3 unique perks that you can unlock by leveling up the blood web of that specific survivor. Now, how you level them up is you basically just go through the blood web, you fill them out, and then eventually at level 30, 35, and 40, you can unlock their teachable perk. As we're looking here, I'm leveling up Jeff Johansson, and he has a teachable perk that's called Distortion. Paused right here, you see Distortion, and there's that fine text that says, perk unlocked, this perk may appear in the blood web of all survivors. So it motivates you to, at the very minimum, level up each survivor to level 40, so you might unlock all 3 of their teachable perks, so that way those perks can now appear on another survivor's blood web. So up first, we're going to have who should I level first? And I gotta be quite honest, it's a clear decision. There's one survivor that stands out above all of them, and that person is Meg Thomas. When you take a look at all of her perks, collectively, her unique survivor perks are beautiful and work really well. The first one is Sprint Burst. And Sprint Burst is when you start to run, you break into a sprint at 150% of your normal running speed for a maximum of 3 seconds. And Sprint Burst causes the exhausted status effect for 60, 50, or 40 seconds. And you're going to see those numerical changes in all of the perks, and basically what they note is the different tiers to each perk, because each perk comes in 3 tiers. So 60 would be tier 1, 50 would be tier 2, and 40 would be tier 3. So that's Sprint Burst. Her second perk is Quick and Quiet. And what that does is loud noise notifications for rushing to vault windows or enter or exit lockers are completely suppressed. And Quick and Quiet has a cooldown timer of 30 seconds at tier 1, 25 seconds at tier 2, and 20 seconds at tier 3. This perk, in my opinion, can save your ass many times. It's a great perk to have. I'm going to pause the video right here. In the bottom right corner, you'll see the perks that I have, and you'll see a couple of them that I'll go over later. But for right now, because I have one perk, I know that the killers run into my direction. So I use Sprint Burst to quickly get away. The killer sees my scratch marks and is not too far behind me. So I go to find a window, and as I find one, I use Quick and Quiet to silently vault the window, and even if it's momentarily, I lose the killer to give me some space. Her third unique perk is Adrenaline. Now this perk is very situational because it does have some requirements that need to be met in order for it to be used, but in video gameplay that I'll show you later, there are times where this perk can come in very clutch for you. What Adrenaline does is when the exit gates are powered, so when all the generators on the map are done, you instantly heal one health state. So from you're either down on the ground and then all of a sudden you're injured, or you're injured and then you're completely healed full. And on top of that, you sprint at 150% of your normal running speed for 5 seconds. Adrenaline ignores existing exhaustion timer, but causes the exhaustion timer status effect for 60 at tier 1, 50 at tier 2, or 40 seconds at tier 3. Again, this is a really good perk to have. And there are times that you're not going to get any use out of it because the game will end before you get a chance to get the last gen done, but in the event that you do get use out of it, it can come in really clutch. So in this example of Adrenaline, I'll pause it here, and on the left side you can see at the very top I'm injured. And on the right side, one of my perks, the top one, is Adrenaline. So instead of me healing, because I'm injured, I decide I'm going to do the gen first, and it heals me, and then I also get, on top of that, the Sprint Burst, and run into the killer. So those are Meg Thomas's 3 unique perks that you want to get on her, and you want to unlock for other survivors. But that means once you're leveled enough, you'll have a 4th empty slot. Now in that 4th empty slot, there are a couple suggestions I can give you, and here's 3 perks that I think are very appropriate for that 4th slot. The first one is Resilience, and it's pretty straightforward that when you're injured, your action speeds in repairing, sabotaging, unhooking, vaulting, cleansing, opening, and unlocking are increased by 3, 6, and 9%. It may seem very minimal, but that 3, 6, 9% can save you a lot in the end. Usually this perk is ran for the vaulting speed bonus that you get. So you might be able to vault a window and the killer swings behind you, and because you had that 9%, the killer misses their shot where regularly they might have hit. The next perk you can use for the 4th slot would be Spine Chill. Now how Spine Chill works is whenever the killer is looking in your direction when within 36 meters of you, the perk will activate. The perk also makes the odds of skill checks triggering 10% more. Skill check success zones are reduced by 10%. Your action speeds in repairing, healing, sabotaging, unhooking, vaulting, cleansing, opening, and unlocking are increased by 2, 4, and 6%. This perk kind of has a dual purpose to it. One where if the killer is coming to your direction, so long as they're in 36 meters from you, the perk is going to light up, which is a good indication of knowing that the killer is about to come in your general vicinity. So it's a good kind of preemptive perk to use to know, okay, the killer's coming over here. But also, by getting the 2, 4, and 6%, depending on what rank the perk is, in all of those actions from repairing, healing, sabotaging, vaulting, unhooking, and so on, it's the same could be said about Spine Chill as Resilience, to where you get that just that little bit extra speed and doing something may save you in the end. Alright, so in the same example as before, if you look at the very top perk, that's Spine Chill, and you see it blinking, that means the killer's behind me, looking in my direction. So every time that the perk lights up like that, I'm getting those bonuses in vaulting, healing, or whatever. And it's a really good indication of knowing where the killer is and if they're looking at you. And the last perk that I would suggest to somebody to use for that 4th slot would be Kindred. Now, how Kindred works is while you're hooked, the auras of all survivors are revealed to one another. And also, whenever the killer is within 8, 12, or 16 meters of your hook, and the numerical differences are just based on what rank of the perk you have, the aura of the killer is revealed to all the survivors. This perk is very useful when you're playing this game by yourself and you just want to put out as much information as possible to your team. Not only does all of your team know exactly where everybody is while you're on the hook, they also can see the aura of the killer if the killer is kind of camping your hook and staying around you. It's a very invaluable perk to run when you're solo. But on top of its first initial use, it also, while another survivor is hooked, the aura of all survivors are revealed to you, and you only. And also on top of that, whenever the killer is within 8, 12, 16 meters of the hooked survivor, the aura of the killer is revealed to you as well. So you kind of get this dual purpose out of it, where when you're on the hook, everybody can see everybody else's auras, and then when another survivor is on the hook, you can see everybody's auras. It's a really good way to know that, okay, player A over there is working on a generator, so I'll go save. Whereas you might be in some situations without this perk in games, and you just don't know what your other teammates are up to, and that kind of information is really, really valuable to have. In this example, I'm working on the last generator that we need to do, and actually my teammate has Kindred. And as you can see, we saw the killer's aura going away from the hook. We saw one survivor get out of a locker. So I know that he's going to go save that hook survivor, and I have time to finish the generator. So with those several perks that I showed you, I kind of came up with 2 different builds that you could shoot to get, basically. And you can do any combination of these perks, really, but these are the 2 builds that I would suggest you work on as you're leveling up Meg Thomas. The first build is Quick and Quiet, Adrenaline, Sprint Burst, and Kindred. And the second build is Sprint Burst, Quick and Quiet, Resilience, and Spine Chill. And the first build is more just kind of your general purpose. Quick and Quiet to try to get away from a killer without notifying them if you vaulted a window, kind of where you gone. Adrenaline to hopefully save you in the end once the last generator's done. Sprint Burst to, again, it's another evasion perk, it's really good. And then Kindred to, again, help you with all that information that it gives you, just to kind of help you out in a situation of need. The second build, Sprint Burst, Quick and Quiet, Resilience, and Spine Chill, is actually what they call, it's somewhat of a meta build. It's what they call the Vault Speed build, because of Resilience and Spine Chill giving you those small bonuses in vaulting. I believe at rank 3, Resilience gives you 9% and Spine Chill gives you 6%. So if you add those together, you're getting a pretty good increase of vaulting. So it's a really good build to have. Now, once you're done leveling up Meg Thomas and unlocking all of her 3 teachable perks, your next step is to figure out who you're going to level after that. And you have one of 4 choices. You can either level up Dwight Fairfield, Claudette Morel, Jake Park, or Nia Carlson. And a lot of people are going to make the mistake of looking at Claudette, seeing the perk Self-Care, and thinking, oh, that's a great perk to have, when in reality, it's deceptively bad. And it all comes down to mathematics, really. Self-Care takes 32 seconds for someone to heal themselves from injured to healthy. When, if you're an injured survivor and you go to your teammates, it only takes 16 seconds. And those 16 seconds could be used repairing a generator and pressuring one, or helping another teammate off the hook, or healing another teammate. There's so many things you could be doing. At the core of this game, and I know I've said this already, but at the core of this game, it really is about who is more efficient, the killer or the survivor. Self-Care is nothing but a time waster. In my opinion, who you should go for next would be Dwight. Dwight has a perk that has the ability for you to be healed, but it not take 32 seconds to do so. It actually would take 16 seconds because your teammate's going to heal you, plus you get all of the information of knowing where your teammates are so long as they're within a certain range of you, and the perk is called Bond. It unlocks the potential in one's aura reading ability. Allies' auras are revealed to you when they are within a 20-meter range for rank 1, a 28-meter range for rank 2, and 36-meter range at rank 3. But Bond is in my opinion, it's one of the better perks in the game. But it's kind of one of those dark horses where a lot of people don't really focus on it too much. So in this clip, as you can see, I'm currently running Bond, and I see that one of my teammates is injured and she's searching in a chest. I'm assuming to get a med kit because she wants to heal up. So I make my way over to her and I begin healing her. And Bond can be used, both ways, to where if I was injured and saw my teammate somewhere, I could travel to them and have them heal me up instead of me sitting in a corner using self-care, taking double the time in order to heal. A lot of newer players are going to look at this and say, what DLC should I buy? What survivor should I unlock first? And there are a couple that stand out above the rest, just like Meg Thomas does in the base pack of survivors. The first one being Bill Overbeck. Bill's perks aren't all as collectively as good as, say, Meg Thomas's, but two of his perks are really, really good. One of which being Borrowed Time. You are fueled by unexpected energy when saving an ally from hook. Survivors you unhook gain the endurance status effect for 8 seconds at rank 1, 10 seconds at rank 2, and 12 seconds at rank 3. So what this perk does and what the endurance status effect does is, once you unhook a survivor, they're going to have a timer on them. If the killer should hit that unhooked survivor within the timer of the endurance status effect, they actually will just soak that hit for free. In this example, it's the end of the game. The exit gates have been opened. Dwight's on the hook and I'm running Borrowed Time. I take him off the hook and now Dwight actively has Borrowed Time. So I make a run for the exit, and you see that Dwight was able to just soak that hit, and that's what Borrowed Time does. The second perk for Bill would be Unbreakable. Past battles have taught you a thing or two about survival. Grants the ability to fully recover from the dying state once per trial. Increases the dying recovery speed by 25% at rank 1, 30% at rank 2, and 35% at rank 3. So how this perk is used is essentially if you're on the ground and the killer hasn't picked you up yet, and you have the ability to pick yourself up off the ground. When you're able to use this perk, it is really strong, it's really fun, and most of the time it's unexpected. Just a pretty straightforward clip. I use Unbreakable to stand up, and I pallet stun the spirit. The second DLC I think you should look into is Laurie Strode. Laurie has one perk, and I know it sounds crazy to spend money on a survivor that just has one really good perk, but she has one perk that I think Survivor side has caused the most drama since it's released. I have seen it go through, I believe, 3 different iterations, and it's pretty much feared by every single killer, every game, no matter what. So, Decisive Strike is the perk. After being unhooked or unhooking yourself, Decisive Strike activates for 40 seconds at rank 1, 45 seconds at rank 2, and 50 seconds at rank 3. While active, complete a skill check when grabbed by the killer to escape, stunning them for 5 seconds. Succeeding or failing the skill check disables Decisive Strike. While active, the following interactions deactivate Decisive Strike: repairing a generator, healing yourself or others, cleansing a totem, sabotaging a hook, or unhooking others. This is my example of Decisive Strike. I was tunneled by this killer immediately after getting off the hook. They put me on their shoulder, and you see that there was a difficult skill check. It is pretty hard to hit, but once you get some practice with it, it's not too difficult. And what it does is stun the killer for 5 seconds and give you an opportunity to get away. Before we end the video, I just wanted to throw out a couple honorable mentions, one being Nancy Wheeler for Inner Strength and Fixated, and lastly Fang Min for Alert and Live. Definitely look into these two. Alright everybody, that's going to wrap up the video. I know it was quite a lengthy one. I hope you had the patience to sit through it, but I just wanted to be as clear and concise and descriptive as possible just for all the newer players out there who might not understand these perks and how they work mechanically. But with all that said, hope you enjoyed it. I will be continuing this this series, I guess, of guides of just to help newer players out, gain a better foothold, and build a foundation of strategy, and hope to see you at the next one. Hope everybody enjoys their day. Take care. Wait, no way did me glitching on the rock totally just save my ass. I can get back up here. I just lost him because I ran on top of the rock. Holy shit.